this morning. So welcome. Today we are having our first virtual Student Leader Summit. And unfortunately, when we had set this up, it was before we knew what the lay of the land was going to be for sports and activities here in New Mexico. So we set it up, and then of course, everything's going on all at once. So we're in a situation right now where I know kids are traveling to games. I know many of you who are on from Santa Rosa, I was told, are on the way to a game right now. We've got a number of our council members who weren't able to attend because of conflicts. So we are recording this, and we do have a great presentation this morning that we want to share with you, and hopefully will help you in your role as student leaders. My name is Dana Pappas, and I'm the Commissioner of Officials with the New Mexico Activities Association. One of my other job duties, aside from working with the officials in our state, is serving as the staff administrator for the Student Leadership Advisory Council, which has been amazing. This is the 6th year of the council, and we're certainly excited to continue to expand and develop our role with the council. So this morning is going to be relatively short, and part of the reason is this is not in person, which is unfortunate. We would much rather have you all together as we have in the past. Last year we did some regional student summits, and our eventual goal is to have a statewide leadership summit in person, because everybody's probably pretty sick of looking at computer screens. I know I am, but we're doing this year. We have a great motivational speaker who is sharing a message with you all. And then a few members of our Student Leadership Advisory Council will be doing a presentation after that. So we're probably looking at an hour, maybe just over an hour. So we'll keep it short this morning out of respect to everybody's time and all of the 50 activities that are going on within our schools right now. A couple of other staff members that assist with the Student Leadership Advisory Council who are on this morning: Sherry Kessler-Schwainer, she's our business manager, and Sherry, if you'll wave so you can see Sherry. And Chris Kedge, who's one of our assistant directors, is on as well. And that was the weirdest, most tentative looking wave I've ever seen. We do have a few members of or 2 members right now of our Student Leadership Advisory Council. We have Paloma Del Valle, she's from Santa Teresa High School. And Kelby Hightower, I saw just logged in, she's from Capitan. There she is. Wow, your little box moved, it confused me. Kelby's on, and Winnie Keller from Roswell will be joining us here in a few minutes. And as I mentioned when we were first logging in, we have a new member of our council who will start with us next year, and that is Lacey Leslie from Melrose. Lacey, do you have a camera where you can turn that on so we can see your face? And there's Lacey. Good morning, Lacey. So welcome, and we look forward to working with you on the council next year. So without further ado, what I'd like to do this morning is start off with our motivational speaker. We were able to commission the services of a woman by the name of Deb Holt. Deb is with Core Trainings, and she has been a speaker at the National Student Leadership Summit for a number of years, which is where Sherry and I actually met her. And she's done a recorded greeting for everybody. We did it that way because we're having her do the same speech today and again on Tuesday. So we do have this recorded, and I'll play it in just a second. But we asked Deb to really focus on the positive, because I think we've all been beaten over the head with the negative over the past 14 months or so. So Deb is giving a great message. I was able to preview it yesterday, as was Sherry, and I really think this will benefit you as leaders. So this is Deb Holt. I know Kelby was at the National Student Leadership Summit a couple of years ago, and she was able to hear her speak. So she already knows the energy and the positivity that Deb brings into the arena of student leadership. So, all right, now bear with me. Everybody who's on the council already knows that technology isn't always my friend. So I'm gonna try and get this started. If it doesn't work right away, don't laugh at me. Okay, so you should be able to see a thing that says New Mexico Summit. If you can't see that, if somebody can unmute and tell me, that would be amazing. Otherwise, we're going to go ahead and get started.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the summit. I am excited to be here with you. My name is Deb Hult. I am co-founder of Core Trainings, and I am an international speaker as well as a leadership and mentoring program specialist, and I work with schools and organizations across the country, and today with you all. So I'm super excited for the opportunity to be with you, so thank you for having me, and thank you for showing up and attending. So first things first, I would like you to take your right hand, oh, that's my left, your left hand, place it on your right shoulder, and I want you to pat yourself on the shoulder, pat yourself on the back, and say, good job, self, for being here today, to slowing down, taking the time to invest in yourself for you to continue to be better. Now, I'm not saying that you're bad. I'm saying better, right? And so I think that's awesome that you're here looking to continue to enhance your everyday living and all the things that you want to be, do, and have, and that the association has created this platform for you to be able to do that. So again, congratulations and thank you for saying yes and slowing down and participating and being here today. And so I have a couple of areas that I would like to talk to you about today and share with you a little bit of my wisdom. I'm not all things to all people, but I have a little bit of wisdom that I would love to share. I have a little bit of information that I would love to empower you with, and then have you, in fact, utilize this opportunity to absorb it, learn it, and then actually go put it into practice just like you do with all the other things that you do. And so I'm excited to be here and share with you some information. So with that being said, first things first, I tend to always be under this big umbrella of leadership. And I know you've heard, be a better leader, just do it, like Nike and to get it done. So I would like to take a moment and start there and just define leadership a little bit, especially as we're coming out of this pandemic. I'm so excited that we're on the fields again. Things are opening up. There's this thing called hope, right? And so, and things like gratitude and all of those fun things, because the other area that I want to talk to you about, not only leadership, but a little bit about mindset, like that little reset piece, right? Because we've been in a year of isolation. We've been in a year of remote learning and lots of losses, and I don't want to be Debbie Downer. Get it? Deb Downer. We can all agree, we're still on this roller coaster ride a little bit, but we can all agree that we have all had some losses this past year. And with that, if, again, recalling back just as a platform, you think about March last year when we were kind of going into this and we thought, 2 weeks, no big deal. I mean, my whole world was large group settings on school campuses across the country. Boom. March 15th, done. And so you heard these things like pivot and be resilient, and I'm sure you're tired of hearing all of those kinds of things. So I promise you, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on those. However, all of that created a mindset, and we want to make sure that we don't get stuck in that. Because the reality is the percentages are very high, that most of us that are involved in, the academics and the extracurricular activities and sports, it's about 68%, it might even be higher, that are battling at some level with some type of anxiety, depression, because of it's not normal to be in isolation. It's not normal to social distance. It goes against our human nature. And so with that, a lot of what was caused was that fear, right? Back in March, it was like that fear of the unknown. And we had that scarcity mindset. The only reason I'm bringing that up, and then we're moving forward to all positive, is let's recognize it. And let's learn from it, and let's move on. One of the things one of the mantras that I have hung on to this year has been, different does not mean defeated. And I've hung on to that all year long. Well, this is different, but I am not defeated. It's that mindset of we'll get through this. Your mind is a very powerful thing. I'm not telling you anything you don't already know. And the other thing that I spent time recognizing and reading often was reminding myself that wisdom is birthed through dark times. Wisdom is birthed through dark times. And it would be so easy for us to continue that mindset of fear, scarcity, dark times, oh no, when there's so much to be grateful for, so much to get excited about. So I'm going to start challenging your mindset. I do want you to recognize, and I want you to learn from it, right? In our world, it's win-lose, right? We play sports, there's winners and losers. That's normal. When we are in any type of a competition, there's win-lose. But I want to talk about this game called life, because for the rest of your life, it will involve people, and you'll have wins and losses. But as you go through dealing with people, what I'd like us to start recognizing is a different kind of a mindset when we're dealing with people, our peers, our classmates, our teammates, our coaches, our teachers, our moms, our dads, our siblings, our cousins, family, is to be mindful of sometimes you win and sometimes you learn. If wisdom is birthed through dark times, my question to you is this: but what have you learned from all of this? Why are you better because of it? And clearly, we have been challenged, but why are you better because of it? And let's focus on that. So that the next time that you have a challenge, because unfortunately, we are not going to be exempt from challenges the rest of our life just because we were challenged this last year. I'm not trying to be Debbie Downer. But we will be challenged. So next time we're challenged and you're mentoring other people, you are coaching other people, you are a captain or you are a leader or you are just on a team or you are a friend that somebody needs a little lift. What is it that you learned from this that you could mentor and say, hey, here's what I learned. Resiliency, the word you don't want to hear, but if you fall down 7, you got to get up 8. So what is it that you've learned in spite of all of this? And you should be proud of that. So different does not mean defeated. And we were talking a little bit about leadership because what did you learn so that you can support other people? And I'm a believer that you don't need a title to be a leader. If you're dealing with other people, you always have the opportunity to be effective, to lead other people, to support and help. And so if I gave you a writing instrument and I gave you a piece of paper and I said, hey, could you please do me a favor? Would you please write down your definition of leadership? Like, what is that? Be a better leader. Just do it. You hear it all the time. But what does that really mean? What is your definition of what leadership really is? And you have had enough birthdays, you've done enough things, you have enough experience that I know that you could answer that question. So with that being said, I would like to consolidate all of your answers, because if I did consolidate all of your answers, I would sum leadership up in one word. And I'm hoping you can buy into this one. Like my friend John Maxwell says, that leadership is influence. I believe that leadership is influence, nothing more, nothing less. What do you mean by that, Deb? Here's what I mean by that. If leadership is influence, what I mean by that is, based on your behavior, how you come across, you have the ability to make other people think, feel, and act a certain way. We want you to understand you're that powerful. We want you to grasp, if we can slow down and start thinking about how we come across, you realize how powerful, how effective, or not that you are. But we get so busy, we don't think about how we come across. And if leadership is influence based on your behavior, behavior is how you come across. And have you ever noticed you tend to behave how you feel, right? I mean, think about it. If you wake up in the morning, you're overtired, you didn't get a lot of sleep, so you're a little grumpy, so you go to school, you're grumpy and tired, how do you behave? grumpy and tired. It's not rocket science, right? We have a few birthdays, we can disguise it a little bit, but at the end of the day, we tend to behave how we feel. So what is it that you're feeding yourself? And that influence is going to come out. So as we do that, that also means we're dealing with people. I believe that relationships are the focal point of the leadership process. I love relational leadership. So relationships are the focal point of the leadership process. And think about it. Keep it simple. People tend to go along with people they get along with and that they like. Don't confuse that with having to be everybody's best friend, everybody's bestie. So I did not say that. What I said was people will go along with people they get along with and that they like. And so I would ask you, when you leave a room, are people like, oh no, don't go? Or internally are they going, oh, thank goodness? Because that's how you come across. And conversely, it's a mindset and it's what you keep telling yourself over and over. Your mind is that powerful. So if leadership is influence based on your behavior and relationships are the focal point of the leadership process, then sometimes it just takes 30 seconds to slow down and say hello and look somebody in the eye. Sometimes it takes you 30 seconds to stop focusing on what your teammates and your classmates or your teachers or your coaches can't do, but maybe what they do well. Because have you ever noticed we tend to put more expectation on other people sometimes than we do ourselves? And have you ever noticed you tend to focus on what the flaws are on somebody instead of value them as what they actually can do? We all do it. We get caught up in it. So I'm here to remind you, as we're having hope, we're coming out, we're being positive, we're communicating, we're doing all these things because clearly we have a deficit in leadership out there. I'm not hating. I'm just saying the reason that your activities association is investing in you is because your voice matters. And what we're seeing is clearly a deficit in leadership. We don't appreciate and respect. If we disagree, we hate. I'm not going to get on a soapbox right now, but can we just step back a little bit? Can we think about adding value to people? Regardless of whether their political views are this, or that their religion practices that, or their belief system is this. If we could slow down and find out a little bit about, instead of just assuming, then my friends, we're going to be the change. We keep hearing, oh, we be the change. But what are you doing to do that? What part are we empowering others to do that? Because we're witnessing just a lot more of disconnectedness than we ever have before that really is beyond the social distancing. And so I want to ask you, how courageous are you in who you are, in being kind, and to value people for who they are and what they do well, and not unfriending them because you disagree? Did you get enough information that you actually could make a good decision? I want to talk to you a little bit about courage, because we know leadership is influence. And when we talk about courage, how courageous are you? And with that, how often are you mindful about being who you are meant to be? Because you matter. And when we talk about that courageous leader, so often we have such a mindset of, oh my gosh, I could never be like that. They're so courageous. They're never afraid. My friends, that is not true. Being courageous as we're moving forward, it's up to you to do that. But sometimes it just means we do it afraid. It doesn't mean that we're not doing it in fear and that there's no fear here. It just means the why is big enough. Because what I also know is you all have goals, dreams, and aspirations. You all have things you want to be, do, and have. And your why has to be large enough to get through the challenges that you will face as you're going after them. And some might be small and some might be a little larger. And that will take courage. So when we say be courageous, I'd like to put some depth into that too, because again, we hit you over the head going, be a leader, be a better leader, step up, get out of your comfort zone, be a courageous leader. And then you all go, okay. And in your head, you're like, how do I I do that? So we're here to teach you that and to support that. What we mean by that is not only being meaningful and intentional, thinking about 30 seconds of being edifying other people on what they do well, as long as you're authentic about it. But also, we talk about those comfort zones. I'm going to break it down into 4 pillars. I'm going to go through this pretty quickly. And so if you do have an writing instrument and some paper and want to take some notes, this is a good one to be reminded of. But there's 4 pillars that I break down about being courageous and being that courageous person that you are meant to be. And so the first pillar is that comfort zone that we always talk about, right? We always say, get out of your comfort zone. Well, I want to take a moment and I want to make sure that you actually spend some time there. It's important that you spend time in a comfort zone. You know what a comfort zone is, right? It's a place where we feel safe. There's no anxiety. It's like going to practice or getting on stage for going through your lines or playing the instrument for band and practice, and you'll do it because you'll love it. There's not a lot of anxiety. Or some of us it's at home. Some of us it's not at home. And some of us, it's school is a safe place. For me, school is a safe place. But a place where we feel safe, where we can have clarity in our mindset, where we think clearly because we're not anxious. It's important that you recognize you need to spend time in some of that. Don't always be out of that. Regrouping is a good thing. But when we do say, step out of your comfort zone, nothing that you desire is ever going to be accomplished in your comfort zone. If you're trying to play it safe, if you have big goals, dreams, and aspirations, you need to step out. So what we mean by that is we want you to expand that comfort zone so you're stepping into your growth zone. This is also where you're opening that door to being courageous, to expanding, right? So I relate it to like game day. Like comfort zone's like practice. Well, game day, it's like, I don't know about you. I played 5 years of high school sports. Wasn't because I stayed back. I had an awesome teacher who was a coach who kind of pulled me up and empowered me and mentored me to be able to do that. And so in playing 5 years of high school sports, on game day, I always got nervous. I was like, Coach, I got to go to the bathroom one more time. For some of you, it might be if it's an instrument and it's time for the concert and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm nervous. Or you're in the play or the debate team. Or maybe it's math class and you have an exam. You're like, okay, the palms might sweat a little bit. The heart rate goes a little bit. There's butterflies going on in your stomach. But you do it because you love it. You do it because you signed up for it. It's part of who you are. Your why is big enough. So you go through with it. And when you do, that expands your comfort zone, but that also helps you create your growth zone. So that's where the growing takes place. Right? So pillars, first pillar is comfort zone. Next pillar is growth zone. That's where learning takes place. The next one that I want to talk to you about, and I don't want to spend a lot of time on it, but it's important that we recognize it because I'm going to talk to you like young adults. And then, of course, there's adults here as well. So, but I'd be doing you a disservice if I pretended this wasn't here. Because that next pillar is called your panic zone. That's that zone. That's where we go too far. That's where our decision making is not clear. That's where we get caught up in peer pressure. Because we want to belong and fit in, we have to be mindful that we don't go too far. Because when you go too far, your moral compass is going to come into play. And then if you continue to keep going, you're going to deplete your character. And so what do I mean by that? Let's relate it to sports again. Have you ever been in a situation, I'm thinking I might not be the only one this has ever happened to, but where you're getting on the bus, you're going to play an opposing team, and you're looking at this and you're saying, oh gosh, Coach, why are we even going? Put a W in the win column. No, you probably wouldn't say that out loud, but because it's a little righteous, that's a little mean. But you might think that, and that's only because the facts of what's lying out in front of you. So you go into it a little cocky, a little too much, a little this, a little that. All of a sudden you look up, there's only 2 minutes left in the game, and you could be losing that game because you didn't take it serious. Your mindset wasn't there, and then you went too far. But what does Coach do? Coach, timeout, brings you in. You guys, you got this. Hopefully you have a coach that does this, that, listen, you know what you're doing, but go have some fun. Stop throwing right if you're a lefty. These little things that we do, like kicking left if you're right and all those kinds of funny things, because our level of play spirals when we start to panic. Well, so does your moral compass. So does your character. And then your wounds become your identity because we spiral. Poor decision-making, peer pressure, hazing, bullying, for the sake of not only your own self-worth, but to the degree of humiliating somebody else to make you feel better. Well, it's culture. It's, this is tradition. That's it, tradition. That's the word I'm looking for. Not if it's against somebody's pride. Not if it's against humiliating somebody. That's not cool. You know that. But to know and not to do is not to know. And you're going to do it if your mindset is not right in reference to who you are as a human being. What are your values? And how do you live your life with others? So, leadership is influence. Relationships are the focal point of the leadership process. When we're talking about being a courageous individual, to open that door, it takes you to open the door. And when you do, be mindful that there's a comfort zone that is important that you have, but it's also important you leave it at times. And then you have the growth zone as your next pillar. Then you have, from your growth zone, you have the panic zone. Don't go there. And then lastly, I want to talk to you about resource zone, that fourth pillar. This is such a cool thing if we embrace it, take ownership in it, and utilize it, because the resource zone is many different levels. The resource zone is your own resource of who you are, the experiences that you have. Give yourself credit and identify your superpowers. We all have them. What are 3 of your superpowers? Not that you're an amazing athlete or that you're super cute or that you're super smart, but as values, what is it that are 3 of your superpowers? Mine would be, again, I'm not bragging or boasting, but one of my superpowers is authenticity. What you see is what you get. I'm going to be your friend here, there, everywhere. Another one is loyalty. I'm very loyal. And then I'm also, look at me, I am probably going to be one of the most positive people that you will ever meet the rest of your life. It's true. It's true. It's true. Not being cocky. It's who I am. But I've owned that. There are other things that I'm not that good at, but I don't need to beat myself up over it. Especially if I continue to focus on what I can do, what I am good at, and what I do have, it's going to increase my own value, and you can't give away what you don't have. And so, what are your superpowers? I bet you can come up with 3, and I'm not asking you to brag or boast, but I am asking you to write it down and take ownership in it. As well as the other resources are your coaches. They're your teachers. They're your parents. They're your peers. They're your teammates. Ask them questions. You want to know how to build trust? Ask questions. Get others involved. You do not have to know all the answers. Gone are the days that the person who's the captain or the leader of the team or the captain of the ship, that you have to have all the answers. People want to support and help. Give them the opportunity, and that just builds trust. And that, my friends, is going to be a fun season when you have trust on your team. You're always going to have a little bit of cliques, because cliques are normal in the capacity of we have certain interests and whatnot, but not to the point that we exclude people. But you can control that by taking 30 seconds and going up to those people who feel excluded and checking in with them, as well as bringing people together and speaking positive things instead of getting caught up in gossip and hate. And so the resource, your coaches want you to go to them. Sometimes they get so busy that we talk about this communication, that you're more helpful, that if you open that door to courage and you step up and talk to your coaches, your teachers, instead of sitting back and go, I hate remote learning and I can't learn anything. I hate this, I hate this, I hate this. And I don't understand that play. Coach, please explain. You ask the questions, because I'm going to guarantee you're probably not the only one that doesn't understand it as well. So be mindful of those resource zones and be mindful of your classmates and your teammates as you're going through and learning all of this stuff and applying all this stuff, because I just threw a lot of information. There's a lot of wisdom that I just threw out at you. However, as I wrap up here, when you're doing all of this, the more you practice, the better you get. Just like your sport that you play, the instrument that you play, if you're really good in math, it's your investment of time. Leadership is the learned skill. You do not come out, you're not born a leader, like 30%, but you do not come out of your mother's womb, leader! A little bit. But it's a learned skill. It's your investment of time. That's why I'm so excited that you're here today. It's your investment of time that makes you better. And then when you continue to put it into practice, it gets better. But remember, you can't give away what you don't have. And I shared with you that I played 5 years of high school sports. I'm one of 9 that graduated from high school. I'm one of 9 that went on to college. You want to talk about being resilient? We can talk about that another time. And I'm the youngest. What I also realize is that because I was involved in school is why I was able to beat all the odds. And to, Deb, statistically, you should abuse your children. I don't. Well, Deb, statistically, you probably won't graduate from high school or go on to college. I did. And so again, but it's a mindset. I was an orphan at a very young age. I've lost a lot of things. And you have lost a lot of things. However, I'm here to say, be careful what you think, because your mind is that powerful. And that mindset, not only are you going to help yourself, but I think about the people that I get to help, because I had teammates and classmates all through my life that have given me that little pat on the back, that have reminded me of what I can do well. Because we all know we spend more time thinking about what we don't have, can't do, not good at. But after today, I challenge you on that. I challenge you to write down 15 things that you like about yourself. 15 things that you're good at. 15, my son Trevor's hockey number. Or 20. I am a mom of twins. I can't play favorites. So maybe 20, Chad's hockey number. But I want to thank you for investing in your time. My prayer is that you implement and utilize some of these ideas and concepts. And at the very least, I hope that you will remind yourself of what you can do, what you do have, what you are good at, the 3 superpowers that you have, and the 15 to 20 things that you like about yourself. And that's not boasting and bragging, my friends, because the moment you start taking ownership in that, what's super cool is then all of a sudden you start coming in under the radar. You don't have to boast or brag, because that's where the confidence comes into play. And if you think about the coaches that you admire, the teachers that you admire, the folks that you admire that you think are, my gosh, they're so confident. And at the same time, they probably don't brag or boast. They're probably very authentic. And they probably come across in a way that is mentoring and empowering to you. And that's because they invest time in themselves. Because you can't give away what you don't have. So I want to thank you for being with me. I want to thank you for being part of this. Please follow me on social media. I'd love to know who's out there and who's participating. And my company again is Core Training. So on Twitter, it's @CoreTrainings. I know you don't do Twitter a lot, but you have to for your athletics and your extracurricular activities. As well as on Instagram, we're core.trainings on Instagram. And again, my name is Deb Hult. If there's anything that we can do to serve and add value to any of you out there that are participating, please let us know. Your association, they know how to get in touch with us. And I would welcome the opportunity to continue to support and help you. So thank you again. Best to you all. And remember, hope. There's a mindset of generosity, and then no more scarcity. There's so many things to look forward to. So have courage, open that door so you can be the best version of you. Thank you for having me. Until next time, my name is Deb, and I'm your friend. Thank you.
All right, everybody. I hope you enjoyed that message from Deb Holt. And the next part of this will have a little question and answer at the end. But the next portion of this, we're going to turn it over to 3 members of our Student Leadership Advisory Council. And it looks like one of them is baking right now. Kelby, you're so busy. So we will turn this over again. The individuals who are presenting this morning are Paloma Del Valle, who is a junior at Santa Teresa High School, Kelby Hightower, who's a senior at Capitan High School, and Winnie Keller, who is a senior at Roswell High School. So I'm going to go ahead and mute myself and turn off my camera and turn it over to these ladies. Thank you for doing this for us this morning.
Thank you. Is it okay if we share our screen?
I will give you that capability. There you go. You should have it.
All right, can you guys see that?
I can.
Okay, that sounds good. So our presentation is on teamwork. My name is Paloma Del Valle. And if you guys want to introduce yourselves as well.
My name is Winnie Keller. I'm a senior at Roswell High.
I'm Kelby Hightower, the one baking.
Okay. Go ahead, Winnie.
Okay, so that was a great video. I know I came in late, guys. I'm sorry. First of all, I had some technical difficulties. My computer is amazing. But one of the big things in leadership, and you guys all know, especially here during these times, teamwork is a very, very important component of leadership and getting things done. So that's what we're going to talk about today. But first off, what is teamwork? So you go look it up in the dictionary, and the legal definition is teamwork is defined as the combined action of a group of people, especially when effective and efficient. Teamwork allows us to perform tasks with the help of others and therefore produce quicker and more effective results, all while forming bonds with your teammates. Some of you guys might not play sports, you might do activities, but no matter what you do, you're going to have to utilize teamwork at some point in your life. Even if you don't do anything, even if you don't participate in extracurriculars, you're going to have that math class where you have to do group work, or you're going to have to work with your siblings to finish chores. And teamwork is always going to be necessary. So that's what we're going to talk about today. Go give it on, Paloma.
Thank you, Winnie. Okay, so why is teamwork important? So teamwork makes everything easier for everyone. Like, you don't have all that workload to yourself, and you're able to kind of have other people to rely on to each do their own individual part and collaborate with you. And it also allows us to foster connections with other people. So you kind of build bonds in the process, and you start forming those connections with people around you. Sometimes it's people that you wouldn't even expect to have around you. And whether it's a sport, a classroom assignment, an activity, like Winnie said, it doesn't matter if you're a part of any activity or any sport. Teamwork's always going to be there, and it just gives you the ability to work effectively alongside others, and it makes you a better leader in the end, because working in a team is one of the key components of leadership.
Paloma, you kind of cut out, but can everyone hear okay? It might just be my computer. You guys want to go ahead and give us some feedback just to make sure that we're doing everything okay? Can y'all hear her?
She did cut out.
Oh my gosh, I feel bad for my teachers. Okay.
She did cut out just a little bit. I was able to get what she said, but it was a little choppy.
Oh, okay. It was there like a certain point that I cut out on, so I can repeat it real quick?
Just kind of chopped up in and out all the time.
Okay, well, I'm just going to read off of it, but teamwork makes everything easier for everyone, and you don't have all that workload to yourself. You're able to kind of collaborate with others, and it allows us to foster connections with others. And it doesn't matter if it's a sport or an activity or an assignment. Like Winnie said, teamwork is always going to be there to help you work effectively alongside others, and it makes you a better leader in the end. have that ability to work with other people.
Okay, so we're gonna go over some of our own testimonials, just talking about how teamwork has impacted us personally. I'll go ahead and start off. How many of you guys have participated in the New Mexico Governor STEM Challenge? You can unmute or type it in the chat or raise your hand. I know I did. Just me and Paloma? Dang, okay. So basically what it is it's a contest where you and a group of students from your school come together to create something that will benefit New Mexico using New Mexico technologies. Really, there's a lot of there's 5 categories, but really anything that you can think of and come up with. This past year, my team, for some reason, decided that we wanted to build a prosthetic hand. It was a very, very big taking on because none of us had ever made a hand before, obviously. And we made it waterproof, 3D, solar powered with nanotechnologies. And at the beginning of the year, we thought that we were going to be able to come together physically in person and work on it together. Obviously, that didn't happen because we just now got back into school. So with all of this that we had taken on, and with not being able to see each other in person, it was a ridiculous challenge. We were able to pull it off, though, because we relied on each other. We were constantly in communication with each other. And even when we had these disagreements, there was a point where I was really frustrated in one of my teammates because he hadn't gotten the coding done when I thought he had. And as the leader of the group, I had to just kind of pull him aside and ask him, like, hey, man, I'm not trying to have this communication bump. What do I need to do in order to make sure that we're getting through this? Sorry, I got a tickle in my throat. But I pulled him aside. I asked him, what do I need to do so that we can work on this? And we were routinely in communication with everyone else. You know, that was one of our big problems, is that we didn't know what was going on. But once we kind of got into that groove of, okay, you're going to do this, you're going to do this, you're going to do this, and then we're all going to come together, we were able to make a functioning hand that cost $400 to make rather than the $100,000 that it usually costs. That was a very big thing for us to do. It took months, and I didn't even think we were going to do it. But once you are able to do what, you know, get that leadership in, have that teamwork, make sure that you're all on the same page and communicating correctly, it really goes to show, like, you can take on everything if you just make sure that you're doing your part and teamwork kicks in, and it'll help immensely.
Yeah, thank you, Winnie. I definitely agree. It's a lot of work to do Governor STEM, and sometimes, like, it's really hard to kind of get together and each person do, like, their own share. But so with my teamwork experience, one of, like, the most projects that I've had to work with teams is in NJROTC. I don't know if any of you guys are in ROTC. You guys can type in the chat.
Paloma, baby, cutting out again.
Oh, okay. Can you hear me better now?
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry. So an experience that I wanted to talk about was from NJROTC. I don't know if any of you guys are in that program, but it's an amazing leadership program, amazing citizenship program. It's really helped us develop leadership skills in the long run. But one of the memories that kind of stick out in my head, and, like, from all the time that I've been in the program, is my unarmed drill team. So, like, the unarmed drill team is basically that you make, like, a routine. So it's kind of like I'd say a lot of people compare it to, like, a dance team, but, like, kind of like military movements or whatever, because you have to make, like, a routine, a choreography, and everything. And usually it's up to, like, the what's it called, the instructors to kind of, like, make the routine and kind of, like, build it. But we wanted to make our own routine this one time, and we're like, each person had, like, really, really different ideas, and we kind of, like, used stuff that we had learned in previous clubs or previous activities. Like, I was a cheerleader back then, and I actually used some of like the chants that we used for that routine, because we have to say like cadences and chants and everything during the performance. And I kind of applied that from another activity that we learned. And then I had some friends who already were in that activity a while ago, so they had chants that they had done before. So everybody kind of put their own little twist into the choreography, and it ended up coming really great. We had like so many different little moves that we kind of incorporated into our routine. And like there was like some components from when I was in cheer, all the chants and everything. And then there were some other components from previous competitions. And I think the teamwork really helped it all bring it together, because every person had like something that they added into the routine. So it wasn't just one person doing the whole thing, but each person, like each step, like didn't matter how small it was, someone on the team had come up with that little part or that little section. And I think that was really valuable teamwork experience, because I kind of learned the value of working together and building that bond, because we did build a bond in the end, because we had been together for so long during that process of choreographing our routine. And it just kind of like started to form. And it was so nice to see everybody just putting in their own ideas and like the choreography form into what it was. So that was my teamwork experience. I'll pass it on over to Kelby.
Hey guys, so I'm working right now, so if you guys hear machines in the background, that's why. Okay, I've been trying to think about what to talk about for mine, but I think the best example for me is we haven't had cheerleaders in our school for 6 or 7 years. And so my freshman year, me and like 3 of my friends decided that we wanted to start a cheer program at my school. So we, went to the school board, we got all of it approved, but the school board said that we couldn't be an actual cheer squad, we had to be a club. And so we did all of our fundraising to go to camps. We did a bunch of t-shirt sales so that we could get like our names out there. And then slowly over time, we went from having 4 cheerleaders my freshman year. And now we had 18 last year, but a lot of them graduated. So now we only have about 13. And so now we're at the point where we have competition cheer mats. We're going to state cheer. And so I guess my best leadership thing I can say is that I helped my school, me and 3 others helped my school restart a cheer program that is successful and that we're going to state. And we've been doing a lot of work for competition, and that's about all I have to say.
Yeah, Captain has like 13 girls total, so that's pretty impressive there, Pillsbury.
Okay, so if you guys don't know where Capitan is, it's close to Rito. So if you guys don't know where that is, I don't know how to help you. But so Ruidoso is the big school, and we're like 20 miles out of it. And so we have like 100-ish in our high school. So we're like really small school. So that's why.
So with that, now we're gonna go ahead and move on to this activity. Talking about teamwork, so obviously it's gonna be teamwork activity. Sorry, y'all are gonna have to unmute. Instructions, we're gonna give you guys a prompt or a sentence, and each one of you guys is gonna have to say a sentence that's continuing the story. So, get creative with it, but we're gonna make sure that it flows nicely.
Also, you guys should
So if you guys have ever done, sorry, what?
I said you guys should also turn on your cameras.
Yeah, I know you guys are probably used to not doing it, but I really feel for our teachers right now, because it's just like me looking at Paloma and Kelby, which, they're beautiful, but come on, I want to see y'all too. So yeah, I'll go ahead and get started. We're going to use this prompt. So as you walk around the town, you notice something strange, and I'm going to pass it to Paloma.
You notice a man walking with a hat.
I'm so sorry. What did you say?
Sorry, my mic is being horrible today. I said that you notice a man walking around with a hat.
That hat was very colorful and crazy.
Now, if you guys want to go ahead and unmute or put it in the chat.
So make sure that when you're done with your add-on, just say who you're going to pass it on to.
I'm passing it on to whoever is ready to go. So.
How about Lacey?
I was going to say, she's going to be on the council next year.
Okay, what did you say again?
So we're talking about a guy and how he has a really crazy hat.
And his hat had a blue feather in it.
All right, let's go to Daniela.
Daniela just dropped. I know that a bunch of the kids from Santa Rosa were traveling and said they may lose service. So I think that's that might be what happened.
Okay. How about Anastasia then? Anastasia, you there, girl? You fell asleep on us. Okay, she's having technical difficulties, so Miss Pappas, you want to go ahead and continue our sentence?
Sure. So the hat had a blue feather on it, and the blue feather fell off. And I'll pass it on to Sherry.
But his alligator that he was walking picked it up.
Chris?
And the alligator passed it on to the music conductor at school.
Wow, this did get strange.
I think that's about everyone that we can, that is able to hear us right now. So see, we had some difficulties, but we just keep going. And we ended up coming up with something really strange and really weird. So obviously that's not how your teamwork's gonna go normally, but let's talk about how this activity has to teach us about teamwork. So we interacted with one another and put together a story. It wouldn't have been complete without a sentence from each of us. So I started out with, there was a guy walking in town, and Chris finished with, and the alligator passed it to the music conductor. That's not a story. If you don't have everyone coming together, that's how teamwork works. Project's not going to be done unless everyone on the team works together and make sure it all flows nice and smoothly like we did with the story.
Okay, so like our final thoughts is teamwork is one of the most essential components of being a good leader. You have to be able to work well with others. You have to be able to kind of encourage that teamwork to happen within your community or within your activity and cooperate well with them as well to have a successful outcome, whether it's in like baseball or soccer or cheer or ROTC or Governor STEM. It's all the teamwork that matters, that puts everything together, like the little story. Everybody put their own little bits and pieces, and we ended up with like a crazy but fun story. And well, yeah, that's pretty much the the gist of teamwork, and we hope that you enjoy this activity on teamwork and that you apply it to your own activities, your own sports, and your community.
So, Lacey and Anastasia, do you guys have any questions for us? Or you want to tell me that I'm pronouncing your name wrong or something?
I have no questions. I think that presentation was very well. Like, it was good.
And Lacey, now you can start thinking about what you want to do next year as a member of the council.
Oh, that's intimidating.
Yeah, well, hopefully you'll be able to do it in person. This is our second year of having this leadership summit. Kelby and I had it last year in person in Artesia. Flowed a lot smoother. We didn't have people just lose service, but it'll be a lot easier for you.
Oh, good. Okay.
Absolutely. And unfortunately, we're in the no in-person stuff still. So we really did hope to have this live this year, but since that wasn't possible, we're doing it this way, and hopefully you were still able to get something out of it. Let me fix my screen.
But I will tell you that being on this board is one of the best experiences I've ever had. I've only been on it for 2 years. Kelby's been on there longer than me. If you want to ask her questions or if she wants to say something about it, there's great opportunities. You might get to go to the National Federation Summit. If it doesn't get canceled because of a pandemic, I was chose to go, but then we didn't get to go. But it seems super, super fun. Yeah, Kelby can talk more about that if she wants.
So the National Leadership Summit is so much fun. It's in Indianapolis, Indiana, and there was 2 of us, me and Sydney. She's not on right now, but we had so much fun going. Maybe you'll get a chance to go. The one thing I will say to you, though, getting on this board is, first of all, be yourself and be outgoing, because during these meetings, you kind of just need to go for it and say what you want to say what you need to say, and everyone won't say it's a bad idea. Everyone loves all ideas. We'll take everything, and it's really sad that it's my last year, but I'm so happy that you're on the board now, and I hope you have fun with it. And yeah, if you have any other questions, you can just email me at my Slack email. I can put it in here later. But yeah.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited for this opportunity and just to connect with people and stuff. So I'm really excited.
We definitely look to working with you next year, Lacey. And Kelby and Winnie are graduating and leaving us, but I've gotten to work with Kelby for the last 3 years and Winnie for the last 2, and Paloma I still haven't even gotten to meet in person because of the pandemic, but she'll be with us again next year. So it's a great group, and I will tell you, it looks like Lacey and Anastasia are the only 2 that are on here that aren't either on the council or getting ready to be on the council. This was an idea that was actually born from students, and really it was the idea of the NMAA not having a voice from the people we serve, and that is the student athletes and student activities participants across the state of New Mexico. So working with the Student Leadership Advisory has been the highlight of my job in many, many ways, and being able to have the relationships that I've been able to with the students who've served. I was talking to one the other day who's getting ready to graduate from college, and just being able to maintain those relationships has been really special to me, and I've appreciated that. I appreciate the work of the students that are on the council, because they're making me better as a professional, but I really think that they're making the association better as well, because we have our finger on the pulse of what students think a little bit more than we used to, and it's super enlightening, and it makes us realize as adults how out of touch we may be at times. So it's we've got a group that is not afraid to share their opinions, and I know Winnie and Kelby are smiling because I definitely know they've spoken up more than once. So, you know, it's definitely been an honor to be able to work with the students that we have and to see how it's grown. And I'll continue to, and hopefully we'll be able to have that statewide summit here within the next year or so. If all things go back to whatever normal is, that's our goal and our plan. But for those of you on the council, if you need anything, please let us know. If you're not on the council yet, or you know, aren't going to be on the council, the NMAA is here to serve you. So don't ever feel like you can't reach out, because we do want to hear what you have to say. So know that your voices are important to us as an association, and we'll continue to get better because of you. So thank you. And thank you for your time this morning. We really do appreciate it. I know it's crazy with everything getting back going, and we weren't able to have as many students on this morning, but this is recorded so that way we can share it and people can see the presentation that Paloma, Winnie, and Kelby did, as well as hear Deb's speech. So I think that it's important that we share this. I'll get this out to the council members to make sure that they get it out to their circles, so that way the word does travel, because I think that that's what's important, is letting people know they are capable of being leaders, and you know, helping them realize what they do have to offer to their schools, their communities, and to the state of New Mexico, because we have some brilliant student leaders in the state, and I firmly believe that. Does anybody have any closing questions or comments, concerns? I want to know what Kelby's baking.
Oh, so I work at a candy store. So we make a bunch of like chocolates in the mornings and cakes, not cakes, candies and stuff.
What?
So
is this in Capita?
You gonna ship me some?
No, it's in Rito. So.
Oh wow!
Wait, which one?
I work at Sweet Retreat.
What's it called, Kelby?
Sweet Retreat.
Interesting. I had no idea.
That's not the one with like the pinstripe candy canes out front, is it?
It's the one across the street from the burger place. I don't know.
Just send me some candy. It's fine.
Okay, will do.
Yeah, to those of y'all who are gonna be on the board next year, Kelby, Sid, and I are all graduating, and we're like the loudest. We never shut up. So you don't have to deal with that, but you do have to replace our voices because it's gonna get quiet.
Yes.
That's well said.
That sounds like some big shoes to fill, but
you'll be fine, Lacey.
Big mouths to fill, really.
oh.
No, and I wouldn't say that it's not an issue. It is not at all an issue that you don't shut up. You just share your opinions, and that's what we need. So I don't want you to ever do that. So keep those opinions and keep those with you into college and for the rest of your lives. Don't be silent. That wouldn't be who you are. Remember what Deb said about being authentic. You all are authentically yourselves, and I want you to always be that. So that's what I love and appreciate about y'all. So if you don't have any other questions, please know how much we appreciate you. And Lacey, with you coming on to the council next year, please feel free to reach out to Winnie, Kelby, or Paloma. And even though Kelby and Winnie are graduating, I know they'll still be happy to field questions. They're great mentors. Paloma's on the council, so she's another one you can reach out to who will be a wonderful mentor for you. And you know, Winnie and Kelby already know that even though they're graduating, I'm still gonna be a part of their lives, because I'm just overly involved like that. But they're okay with it. I think, I don't know. But thank you all for joining us this morning, and I hope you were able to gain something through Deb's presentation, and certainly I did through that and through the presentation of Winnie, Kelby, and Paloma. And I really do look forward to working with the council in the future. So everybody have a wonderful rest of your Saturday, a wonderful Sunday, and I can't believe this school year is almost over. What a weird, strange year it's been. But thank you all for sticking in and for continuing to contribute to your schools, your communities, and to the NMAA. You are most certainly appreciated. Have a good one, everybody, and we'll see you next time. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Bye.
Bye.